Yeah.
Soma Chhaya, welcome to the show. So excited to have you. We are going into the year of the fire horse. So a lot of this conversation is going to be based on that. But before we get into it, I just want to know a little bit about you. You started this not too long ago. What was the initial inspiration and how did you go about it? How'd you grow so much?
Yeah, so I started 18 months ago and it was brand new accounts. It's not like I had these accounts before. And the reason is because I wanted specifically to talk about manifestation, but I was a little bit embarrassed and I was afraid of family and friends judging me for talking about this woo-woo energy stuff. So I made secret accounts to post about it under a fake name, actually. And it wasn't until it started to grow and I started to realize that it's not cringy or I shouldn't be embarrassed about it. I finally put my real names on it and stuff. But yeah, it kind of started as a passion project, just as an outlet because I love this topic so much and I just had to talk about it.
It's amazing. And I think when you have the energy behind something and just natural curiosity, it flows, right? You're not trying.
Yeah. There was no forcing. It was more just like I couldn't stop myself from doing it. It was more of that energy.
How do you describe what you do?
So I'm a manifestation content creator, but that kind of is a broad umbrella. I talk about everything to do with astrology. I talk about tarot. I do a lot of tarot readings. And I was telling you earlier that I also read palms, but no one really knows that. I don't really talk about that on my page. But a lot of it, I would just say, is spirituality and self-improvement.
And do you think there's been a change on social media or just in the world that people are really curious about this content?
Oh my God. I feel like the word manifestation is like a common word now, which is so exciting because when I used to talk about it like 10 years ago, no one would really know what that meant. And I'd have to explain it. But now it's like everyone knows it. It's super cool.
How do you explain what manifestation is?
Manifestation is the process of bringing your thoughts to reality. So it's basically designing your reality, taking control and empowering yourself to create the life that you want.
Do you believe that our thoughts create our reality?
Yes. It's not as simple as you think something and it appears, because if that were the case, our lives would be total chaos. So there's definitely friction to it, but your thoughts shape your words and your actions and your behaviors, your identity, and that shapes your destiny.
Can you give me an example of how you saw that happen in your life? You thought about something and you feel like you manifested that.
Oh my God, how many examples how much time do we have? So one of my favorite manifestations that have happened for me was when I was younger. I loved this TV show called Degrassi, and I was an actor previously since I was a kid. And I manifested it for years with no acting experience. I didn't have an agent at the time. No one in my family was in the entertainment industry, but I just knew I wanted to be on this TV show. And 4 years later, I was a main character.
I feel like manifestation is knowing what you want and not thinking about the how.
Exactly.
But just taking any aligned action that you can to get you there and and letting it go every day, surrendering the outcome.
I think that's the most important point that you could bring up, because through all of that passion and through all of that desire for wanting to be on that TV show, I think it might have also cast a shadow on me and become an unhealthy obsession too, which can stop you from getting your manifestation as well. When you place too much value and importance on the outcome, it starts to take a toll on your own mental health and your well-being. But once I surrendered, which was like the key word that you said, once I surrendered and I just said, universe, make it happen how you want to happen. And if it doesn't happen, I'm also okay with that. That was the year that it did end up happening. It was the year that I was about to quit acting and give up on it, was the year that it happened.
Wow. I love that. And I've heard that a lot from other people. I've always felt like I can call things in and manifest things, but it's almost like it'll happen and I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't ready for that.
Yes.
Because in order for something to arrive, you have to lose something.
You are so right, because we don't realize that when we ask for a different life, it requires we have to give up our old life in order to get that new life. And that means losing some things. But not all loss is bad, like you were saying. Some losses every loss is actually a gain in a different direction because of the law of balance. That's just, energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be changed. And so when you lose something, you inevitably gain something. And I think that's a beautiful way to look at it. And yeah, sometimes the universe kicks you in the butt a little. It's like, I know you want this, so here you go. Here's your little jump start.
Totally. How are some other ways that people can manifest things?
I think my favorite way to manifest something is getting crystal clear on what you want. It's so funny. People are just like, well, why hasn't my life changed? Why hasn't my manifestation happened? I'm like, okay, well, what do you want? And then that's where the conversation ends because they haven't actually thought about what do you want? Not what other people want you to want, not what you think you should want. What do you want? And oftentimes, once you get clear on what you want, there's so many pathways that get illuminated in your mind of how you could get there, how it can unfold for you, and things that you also need to do to prepare for that future. And so I think that's the first step. And then the second step is working on your self-worth, working on your identity, healing parts of you or trauma and things like that. I think healing is a big part of manifestation.
Yeah, because there are certain blocks that we might have where we're not seeing the opportunity because of our own limited belief system.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
We're so exactly speaking the same language.
You need to be on my channel too. You got a lot of content there.
I'm telling you, this is my like guilty pleasure. You know, I can read and talk about this stuff all day long because I believe it and I've seen it happen. And I think it's really just a feeling. You can't explain it to someone who's never felt it. But I think it's totally possible. It's laws of the universe. It's when you surrender. It's when you feel really connected to yourself that all of these things do start to manifest.
Yeah, when you believe something is possible for you, you'll start to see the ways in which it is possible for you. Because, and even if you wanted to get down to like the science level or like the psychological level behind it, our brains have something called a reticular activating system. Have you heard of this? And so it's our way of filtering out the world. And based off of your own belief system, you will literally not see opportunities that could take you to your manifestation because of your identity, because of your belief system. So your beliefs do shape your reality in a literal sense. And so when you change your belief system, when you believe that more is possible, better is possible, it will be. And you'll start to see the things that you never saw before right in front of your own eyes. Like, wait, this was here this whole time. Yeah.
How can we get very clear on what we want?
I think it starts by doing a little bit of it's called shadow work. Have you heard of this? Yeah. So shadow work basically is kind of digging deep into your soul, into your childhood, and seeing what parts of yourself are blocking you, what parts of yourself make you feel alive. And I think a lot of our desires and what we want out of life, we know at a very young age. A lot of us know what we want when we were very, very little. We knew who we were. We were talking about this with your kids too, right? Like, we know what we want when we're kids. We know who we are. We know what makes us feel alive. But we lose that when we grow up in the system that was created for us to become employees and to kind of lose that creativity. I think a lot of finding out what you want is figuring out what did you used to want? What used to make you feel alive? Because that's usually the answer.
Yeah. And there are moments where you come full circle with that. Today, I told you earlier, today's my birthday.
Yes, happy birthday.
Thank you. My 40th birthday. And you know, Soma, when we talk about synchronicities, I would always see the number 19. And for some reason, I would always reference the number 19, just randomly. I've talked about this before on this podcast, where my mind just always says, like, if I'm talking to my kids and I'm like, you guys, I'm not going to wait here for 19 hours. Or it's, you know, it's like my throwaway number that I use all the time. And I always thought, like, why am I so stuck on the number 19? And it hit me yesterday. I went to the beach by myself. I just really wanted to clear my head over everything that transpired over the last few days. And I sat there. I'm like, tomorrow's my 40th birthday. When I entered into this chapter of my life where I was trying to be a news reporter, went to school for it, did all the things in my life to build my life till today, it took me 19 years to get out of it, from 21 to 40. It just clicked.
I have goosebumps. What?
So you tell me what you think about that. But I find, like you said, we have these dreams when we're young. We know what we want and we know what our heart aligns with. That is our truest essence. But we lose it along the way because life tells you who you should be, or your parents, or your spouse. Responsibilities. Yeah. And then we go into this tunnel for however long. For me, it was 19 years.
That's so great.
Yesterday on the beach, I had my tears where I was like, oh, I'm saying goodbye to it. It's the end of an era.
Yes.
But then immediately I felt so peaceful. And I just said, I'm done. I'm free of it. Now I can do whatever I want.
Yes. Yes.
And it took 19 years to get out of that.
I think that's so crazy because I feel like subconsciously you knew your time. You almost like pre-planned the time that you would need to say, like, a part of you did have that dream. That was part of what you needed to do. But you you did it. You're onto your next dream. And I think it's some people call it soul contracts. I like to call it like you predetermine your own destiny. I don't really believe in a destiny written for you, but I think you kind of knew like that was your time.
Mm-hmm.
That's so crazy that you subconsciously knew it. And it's also interesting too, because when something happens at the right time, the grief feels different. The grief doesn't feel like a gut-wrenching, like this was ripped away for you. It feels like a healing closure of a period. It feels right. And I feel like that's kind of like the process that you went through. Where like, yeah, you were sad it was the end of an era, but at the same time, you did everything you set out to do. There was no stone left unturned. Like you did it all.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it felt very almost like relieved.
Yes. And that's the perfect feeling for your next chapter. That's what you want to feel when you move on to the next thing. There was something interesting. I was talking to one of my other friends the other day. And she was saying, I feel so guilty when I don't do the right thing. I feel so guilty when I know I should be doing something else, but I don't do it. And I told her, I said, if you do the right thing too early, it's the wrong thing. Because just because you know it's the right thing to do doesn't mean it's the right thing right now.
Or the right thing for you.
Yeah. And so there's no point in rushing yourself to the right answer, down the right path. You are where you need to be right now and just be there. It's okay.
So talking about chapters, we all went through the year of the snake, did a lot of shedding.
Yes.
Whew. And I almost felt like for me, and I want to hear your experience in this too, what happened this, just the last few days, it was like, the universe saying to me, I'm not going to let you carry this into your 40s because this needs to stay behind. You're the horse, all that stuff. Now let's move you into this new chapter with a fresh slate. How do you understand, astrology and you weave it into your manifestation work, everything that we left behind and are now entering into?
Yeah, I think the year of the snake was obviously snake shed. So there's a lot of shedding. There's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of even last year was with numerology, it was a 9 year, which is a year of closure. It's a year of ending, completion, chapters ending. And this is a 1 year. It's like there's so much fresh start energy. There's so much new beginnings this year. And I think last year was all of the mental work, the preparation, the pain of shedding all of the old beliefs, all of the old situations, even people, jobs, everything. And this year is it's going to be a lot of taking action. It's going to be a lot of act first, think later, shoot first, aim later. That's kind of like the mantra that I would say this year would be about. And it's interesting that your start of the year for the fire horse and even your birthday and this new decade of life, it started with action. Action first, thought later. The action happened and then you had time to process it. And I think that's what is going to happen and is what should happen this year because you did the work last year. You did the energetic work. You did the healing. You did everything you needed to last year. And this is the year where you trust the process that you did last year and you allow yourself to move without overthinking.
What do you think are some common themes people are going to realize as we go into the year of the fire horse? And what is the fire horse? And how's it different from just a regular horse?
So yeah, I know it's kind of confusing because there's always an element tied to each animal, depending on what the year is. But a horse is an animal of strength. Horses carry large loads. Horses are all muscle. They move fast, with speed, with certainty. And the fact that you add the element of fire on top of it, you want to talk about things happening fast. You want to talk about massive speed towards your manifestations. This is the year where you are going to be, by the end of this year, you're not going to recognize yourself. This is going to be the year of reinvention. You are not going to recognize yourself. That's how fast things are going to change and how fast things are going to move because of all the preparation that happened previously.
And how can people manifest with the energy of the fire horse?
So with manifestation, there's so many things you can do. You could do affirmations, you can do journaling, you can do shadow work, you can do meditation. When it comes to the energy of the fire horse, because it is so action-oriented, movement-oriented, you have to manifest with that in mind. So some of manifestation is aligned action. That is part of the process. And that is the kind of manifestation technique that I would use this year. And that's it. This is not the time for journaling. This is not the time for introspection. This is the time to just take aligned action and trust your gut. Just do it. Post the post, end the relationship, start the relationship, quit the job, get the new job. Like, this is the time to just do, think later.
Wow. Okay. How do you apply that to your own life?
To my own life? Yeah. For me, it's just like taking chances and just try the things that I want to try. Just try it even once. See what happens. Because the time that I'm going to spend thinking about it, I'm literally self-sabotaging. I'll let the universe tell me that it doesn't work. I'll put it out there. Let me at least do it. And then get the feedback from the universe. Did it work? Did it not work? Instead of telling myself no.
I love what you just said, self-sabotaging. How do you think people self-sabotage when it comes to manifestation or what they're trying to call in?
I think a lot of self-sabotage comes from, all of it comes from not believing that you deserve it. All of it comes from not believing that you're worthy of it. And it's not your fault for feeling that way. We weren't born feeling insecure. We were taught to be insecure. And so, one, don't feel guilty for self-sabotaging. Like, you know, a lot of times you'll be like, oh, I'm self-sabotaging. And then you start getting mad at yourself for self-sabotaging. So don't do that. Don't, you know, reprimand yourself for something that's not your fault. Recognize it. Be kind to yourself about it. And then ask yourself, why do I feel like I don't deserve it? Why do I feel like I'm not ready for it? That's a lot of times what happens. Even when I'm having conversations with people who I believe are so confident, I'm like, why don't you go and do this thing? Oh no, I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Or I don't think that I have the skill set yet. Why are you telling yourself no before anything else has told you no? You're literally shutting yourself off from the opportunity because you're scared of the rejection of it. And so allow yourself to be rejected. Allow things to not go well for you. That doesn't mean that you're not good enough. That just means that wasn't the right thing for you.
I think people get embarrassed, like you said.
Yeah.
And how do we get over that?
You can't. Embarrassment is a human nature. It's human nature. We're meant to feel embarrassed. The thing is, you can't let it stop you. Know that, hey, this is going to feel shitty. This is going to be embarrassing. It's going to be cringy, but I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm going to do it anyway. And we're going to just get through the cringe. We're just going to feel it out and do it anyway. Like, that's how I felt with social media in the beginning. I felt so cringy. I felt so embarrassed. That's why I made the fake name. But I think what I really am proud of myself for doing is that I knew I was going to be embarrassed. So I found a way to make it safe for myself by making a fake name, by starting a new account. I found a way to do it and still feel safe. So if you can find ways to do it, if you can find ways to do it, but still make yourself feel safe in the process, or as safe as you can feel, that's probably the best way to get through it.
And I feel when you get started, then whatever's out there shows you, you know, and gives you the momentum. And it's like you only need a couple reassuring moments, and then you get over the embarrassment.
You just need one win, and then you're like, wait, okay, I'm not
something.
crazy for doing this. Yeah. It was just a couple of people following me or people commenting, hey, you helped me. And I'm like, wait, okay, it's not cringy. People like it. I'm okay.
I mean, Soma, you have 1.5 million followers.
Now I do. But believe it or not, 18 months ago, I had 0. So
what do you attribute to your growth? I mean, that's very rapid.
It's so rapid. And so, yeah, I think the total for all the platforms right now is 6 million across all platforms in 18 months. All of them were brand new accounts. And yeah, it's been insane rapid growth. But I think in my head, I knew what it could be. And in my head, I knew I wanted to help millions. I just didn't know how it would end up working itself out. But my favorite thing is empowering people. And most of all, empowering women. Like, there's nothing I love more than empowering people because I know what it feels like to be on the other side of it.
When you say that, what was it like for you on the other side of it?
I have been bullied. I have been, I don't know how deep we want to get here, but I was abused by my own parents growing up. And I know what the other side of strength feels like. I know what feeling weak and cornered and helpless feels like. And I've been in times where I didn't have an aunt or uncle or a best friend or an older sibling to reach out to, or even a cousin. And I hated that feeling of loneliness, but I had to be like my own mentor, my own parent, my own coach. And because of that, if I could ever help someone find the strength or be that person for them to help them out of a dark time, that's all I would want to do.
That's so beautiful. And thank you for sharing that, because I think it's very important not to get caught in the victim mindset, but rather everything you're seeking truly is inside of you. And I think for you to have that moment where you could say, I know what it could be, and I'm just going to love myself enough to put myself out there. And even if I'm embarrassed, who cares? Because I know who I am.
Yeah, exactly. I know who I am. And as well, it was just like, the last thing I wanted to do was look back in my life and be like, what if I did do it? And just like the regret of not trying was going to eat me alive. And that was what scared me more than being embarrassed was what if?
Well, I can tell you, sister, as someone who's 40, the worst thing is having something in your heart and not executing and then looking back and saying, God, I wish I did it.
I wish I tried. Because at the end of the day, when you look back and like in hindsight, you're like, it wasn't that big of a deal.
No.
Why did I make it out to be so big? Like there's so many things I look back on. I'm like, man, that didn't even matter. I gave it so much importance at that moment. But in hindsight, it's not that big of a deal. And so if you can find a way to like make a proof folder in your phone or make an accomplishments list on your notes app, just lay out all of the ways that you have been successful. So in moments when you don't remember it, you can look back on that and remember who you are.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people focus on the big ticket items and they forget that sometimes it's the small things.
The smallest accomplishments are what make you who you are. Like what I'm proud of, yes, I'm proud of like the outwardly successful stuff, like millions of followers and stuff. But if you were to actually ask me what my biggest accomplishment is, my biggest accomplishment was leaving my abusive household. My biggest accomplishment was gaining my independence and having the strength to leave and to believe in myself. That's my biggest accomplishment. That's not what people see on a daily basis, but that's what made me who I am. And so those are the things that other people need to remember too. Like your accomplishments aren't about what people see. It's about what made you who you are today. So if we focus on that, or like, you know, if you guys focus on that, like it's going to change your mindset about yourself. You're going to start to be like, damn, I am so amazing. I'm so incredible. I've been through so much and I'm still here.
Yeah. It's so not about the resume.
It's not. It's about like all the shit you have been through and the fact that you are still here. You still live with light and love in your heart. Like that is the biggest accomplishment, to go through shit in your life and still be a loving, kind human being, to not let it callous you.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some practices that you do to be in this state where you can produce this content and your energy just like speaks for itself?
I give myself a lot of flexibility in terms of my schedule, because I find when I'm too militant on a schedule, it actually drains my creativity and my love for what I do. So I try to keep it very open. I only make content when I really like, when I have something to give, basically. I don't try to make content just for the sake of it. So that's a lot of it. But then I also find ways to like feed my heart and my soul with other things that I love. So I make sure I have a variety of like other interests and activities to feed my soul and my heart. So whether that's reading books or going for a walk, spending time in nature, I love traveling, trying new foods. I try to make sure that I keep a healthy balance in my life.
Yeah, being in a state of joy, I think, is like the biggest manifestation tool.
Because I'm so happy you said that. That's literally my belief system. Yes.
It's so true. None of it matters. None of it matters. As someone
what are we all working for at the end of the day? To feel joy.
Totally.
That's all that matters. And you can produce joy at any point in life.
Yeah.
So why
That's
wait?
where we get it twisted. As someone who's built the material stuff and then handed it right back, I understand that now. Like joy is felt in the moments and you can't replicate it just in a bigger, better scenario. You can only experience it when you're really, really tapped in and you're in a state of gratitude. And I think that's where you manifest the best from, because you're already like overflowing.
Yes. When you're in a state of flow, in a state of joy, you literally stole the words right out of it. Like that's literally what I feel, is that when you follow your joy and you follow your heart, everything falls into place. Like you are just in pure alignment. And we're working hard to accomplish our goals and do all of this to create joy in our lives anyway. But joy is a choice. You can choose to be grateful at any time. You can choose to tap into that any time. And then that'll also help you manifest more, because you'll realize getting your manifestations isn't going to change how you feel about yourself. It's just going to amplify what's already there. And so the more you focus on creating joy right now, the better everything in your life is going to go. Everything.
So tarot card, I mean, tarot reading, but also palm reading.
Yeah.
Will you read my palm as my birthday gift to me?
I will. Which is your dominant hand?
Well, I'm a righty. So.
Okay, then that's the one that I want to look at.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm going to have to like look very closely at your palm.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's see.
This has never happened before on the Breaking Through podcast. Soma's reading my palm.
Okay, so first things first that I kind of noticed just by, so what I kind of look at is obviously you look at the lines in a palm, but you also kind of look at the feel and texture of the hand itself.
Mm-hmm.
You are someone who has a very kind, soft heart, but you have like an armor around you that was built very recently. I don't know if there was some hardship that's recently happened in the last maybe like 5-ish years that's developed some callus to protect that soft aspect of you from perhaps maybe getting walked over, maybe being taken advantage of. I do feel like that's something that's going to pass though. Like that callus had to be built just for this time period only, but it's not, you don't permanently need this armor. It's not something that is going to serve you long term. It's something that if it does stay around too long, it might actually hurt you because your strength is your heart. And to just remember that like, yes, sometimes your heart is the reason why you get hurt, but it's also your superpower.
Mm-hmm.
So don't let the callus become who you are because it was there to protect you in a time when you needed it, but it's also okay to let it go. And I think it's going to go away soon. So that's first things first. Second thing, you kind of have like an artist hand. Do you do any kind of like creative work, like drawing or writing or anything? Or
I write, but not with my hands. I mean, I like
no,
voice
like,
note it.
yeah. But like,
not really. No.
I wonder if that's something maybe you could try because I think you might be really good at some form of like art.
Okay.
Yeah. Give it a shot. You have a hand that's natural for it. You have a very strong line of fate, but it has kind of like it's split into two, which is so interesting to me.
Fate?
Yes.
Meaning
I feel like you have maybe two polarizing ways of viewing the world. And I wonder if they kind of clash at each other. And sometimes you have trouble, correct me if I'm wrong. You have a very pragmatic way of viewing the world, but then you have a very spiritual way. And it's almost like sometimes you butt heads with yourself.
Well, yeah, it's nature versus nurture.
Was it like some inherited beliefs versus maybe your true beliefs? Or
I think my true beliefs, and thank you, that was really cool. I think my true beliefs have always been in line with spirituality and coming from a very heart-centered place. But life hardens you. And also, I think working in an industry that is very pragmatic, you don't get to, you're not feeling it when you're doing the news. You're very pragmatic about it. But it's not who I am. I can relate to the performance aspect because I did theater my whole life and I can communicate well.
So you are an artist.
Yeah, in a way.
You're a performing
But here
artist,
in this space, I get to kind of swim in waters and that are totally different than that.
Yeah, that's
so
really
you're
fascinating.
right. You're so spot on.
Because I feel like what I kind of saw was like, and it's interesting because in your line of fate too, it was like, one side of it was shorter than the other. The side that was longer was the side of your spirituality, and the side that was shorter, it almost felt like the pragmatic approach, the logical approach got you through the first bit of your life, and now spirituality is going to take you the rest of the way. And that's kind of what I saw was like this like split in the road where you kind of had to choose a path because the path of logic was going to lead you to burnout. And I'm really glad that you didn't keep on that road because the way that palms kind of work and the way that palm reading works is this is kind of like a map for your life. It's not a rule book. This isn't what's going to happen. It's not like your fate is written, but it's more like these are different pathways that are possible for you based on what you choose is your choice. But this is kind of like the pathways that are open based off of your personality. And so there was a path that you could have taken, but that path would have been really detrimental for you.
I'm glad I
so
didn't.
Very glad that you took the other fork in the road.
What else can you tell from looking at
I can tell children. I can tell relationships and marriage. I can tell money. I can tell a lot from a hand.
I want to know.
I can also tell sex life too. I can tell you everything you need to know.
Maybe we save some of it.
Yeah, maybe that's a separate conversation.
What a gift. I mean, how did you come across this?
So my dad actually read palms when he was little. He taught himself and then he taught me, which was like a huge introduction into this world. And I feel like the reason why I read tarot so well is because I read palms first. And he taught me when I was like 8 years old how to read palms. And so it's something that it's kind of been normal for me. And then even from my mom's side, my grandfather, I never knew him, but he could read feet and he could read forehead lines. Super crazy.
What if we get Botox?
But that actually changes the reading. It impacts it because when certain lines crease on your face due to the weight and the stress that your body carries, and certain facial expressions that we carry literally turn into lines on our face. So when you get Botox or you get plastic surgery or you change something about your face and your lines, it genuinely changes you.
Wow. Wow.
Even when it comes to Chinese face reading, I don't know if you've ever heard, but when you change certain proportions on your face, it changes your personality.
I mean, I'm fascinated with this stuff, but I'm always scared not to put too much.
Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I mean, it's all with a grain of salt because, and that's part of the duality of life, right? We have to believe in these things, but we also have to let it go to some extent.
I always see it as it's a guidebook. It's not fact. It is a guideline in terms of like, this is what could be. This is what the energy is leaning towards. But at the end of the day, we have free will. You can choose against it.
Yeah. How do you differentiate what's destined versus free will?
Our destiny is our free will. We choose our destiny. So even what is written by us. We chose that. We choose the life that we want to live in every single aspect of it. I don't believe anything is set in stone. Even when it comes down to your horoscope, when it comes down to planetary alignments, those are all just guidelines. They're all just telling you, hey, this is what's kind of happening. But at the end of the day, it's your choice.
I feel a lot of people, they just want a better life. They want to be happier. They want to be richer. They want to be better looking. They want better relationships. But they face a lot of roadblocks. Why do you think that is?
Because it's not getting those things that we want. It's what we want is to become the person who has those things. And in order to become the person who has those things, you have to overcome challenges. And so it's like people want the end result, but they don't want the challenges that'll make them the person who gets there. So they're not roadblocks. That's literally put in your life to make you that person. Every single challenge is there for a purpose to serve you so you can become the person who has the thing that you want. So when people are like, hey, like I'm encountering this problem, I'm like, good. If you didn't have problems, you're going down the wrong path.
Yeah. I do believe that you have to act like your future self to get the thing that it is that you want.
And then when you act like your future self, you'll end up realizing that you are that person right now anyway. You're already that person. And that's a part of also like how I manifested millions of followers too, was like, I would show up as if I had those millions of followers, that when I got to that number, I kid you not, it literally was not a surprise. It didn't even faze me. I didn't even really celebrate it because I had already celebrated it before it happened. When I was at 500 followers, 1,000 followers, I already felt the energy of like, this is going to be big. I already knew who I was. And so when you embody your future self, when it happens, it's just, okay, of course it did. It does. It kind of sounds a little arrogant, but it's almost that level of delusion where you're like, no, this was who I was meant to be.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying because I've felt that.
Yeah.
And I've envisioned things before they happened, and then slowly it started to manifest.
To unfold.
But it doesn't happen like you ride into the future on a unicorn. It's not like that. It sometimes comes in the form of a destruction.
Yes.
You say you want really great friends. Well, guess what? You're going to lose the bad friends.
You're going to lose all the other
You're going to feel the pain. And then you're going to meet the good ones. It's almost like be careful what you ask for because your old life is going to cost you your new. Your new life is going to cost you your old life.
Yeah, exactly. But I also do want to say, like, don't ever let that pain of change scare you from wanting more for yourself because you're going to face challenges in life anyway. Why not face challenges in the direction that you want to go in? So don't ever let the pain of change scare you because the pain of not changing is way worse. It's way more suppressing. It hurts your soul so much more. But yeah, I love it. I love looking at my manifestations too and being like, honestly, those things wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the painful parts that I went through. Those are the things that the challenges were the manifestation. Like, yeah, when I left my parents' house, it was the hardest thing that I ever did, but I would not have any of the things I have today if that didn't happen. I would literally not be this person. And so the hardest thing that I've gone through in my life is literally my biggest blessing. And you only can see that once you're past it.
Yeah, the challenges don't come to punish you. They come to crown you.
I love that.
You are given the obstacle, the darkness, to see how you're going to transform it. And once you do transform it, or you're given an opportunity to give something up, like when you face resistance in something, it's like, okay, what else am I holding on to that's getting in the way of what I want? Because that's usually what it is.
And it's like, it's the same thing. It's like the law of polarity. Like if something really bad happens to you, just know that something of equal greatness must happen to you afterwards. So it's like, if you go through something super shitty, greatness is literally on the other side of it.
Yeah, I believe that too. Do you think when there's a big shift coming that we feel the energy before it happens?
Oh yeah. I know that you felt it too.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever feel that like calmness before the storm where you're like, shit's about to get crazy right now. Something's gonna happen. Like you feel that like eerie, like.
Yeah, Soma, the last few weeks, and please give me your guidance on it because I want to hear from you. The last few weeks transitioning into the year of the fire horse, right? And it was the last few weeks of the snake. I felt so much anxiety. I felt like, oh my God, something's going to shift in my life. Something's going to change in my life. I felt it. And then lo and behold, earlier this week, I wake up and here's the thing. I was at work and I'm doing a live shot and then I just look up like this and I'm like, this was a good run. Swear to God. Something along, like not those actual
words. No, I know
words,
when you almost feel out of body where you look at the surroundings around you and you're like, I'm not going to be here for very much longer.
Yeah,
like,
I had that out of body feeling. I'm not kidding you. A few minutes later, my boss texts me that they want a meeting.
Stop.
And I'm like, and I had to stop and I had to say, this could go one of two ways. I'm very happy with whatever result happens. I'm ready. And lo and behold, it was a decision beyond me, but it was coming.
You 1000%. We know it. I've had the exact same experience and that's why it's freaking me out to hear you say it and like verbalize it because before I moved to LA, I remember looking back at my small hometown. I was in college at the time, like taking the bus to school, like living a normal life. And I remember looking at my surroundings and you had this like out of body experience. I remember looking around, I'm like, I'm not going to be here for very much longer. I should enjoy this moment right now because I have a feeling I'm going to be gone soon. And literally that same week, I found out I was moving to LA and I had to like leave everything behind. And it was like the weirdest premonition ever.
Where does that feeling come from?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't know.
Do you think everyone feels it or do you think certain
Maybe
people
they can let us know. Maybe you guys can like comment or something and let us know if you share that feeling of like, it's not like a full-on premonition of knowing the future, but it's just knowing that like, oh, something big is about to change and nothing's ever going to be the same after this. Like,
right. And then when it happens, you're like, that's what that was.
Yeah. You're like, like you said, the relief of like, whew, okay. It happened.
And you never have proof. But I think if you're someone who is that deeply connected and you believe in these things, and then you can look back and you connect the dots and you're like, yeah, that's exactly why it happened.
Yeah.
And someone who doesn't believe in these things, they might say, well, it's just woo-woo, it's just a coincidence, but it's not just a coincidence. If you believe in it, then it's true for you. And I think that's all the proof I need.
I think we've logicked ourselves a little too hard in life right now. I'm hoping that we kind of like have like a collective spiritual awakening and we kind of come back to to spirituality more because a lot of ancient religions and a lot of like First Nation religions and stuff was tied to the sun, to the earth, to water, to the tides, to the moon. Like we've lost the plot a little bit in this new age reality where we rely too much on logic. And that's not always the answer. The answer does come from within. It's not, to me, it's like, it's not woo-woo to look at the stars and to look at the planetary alignments. Like that was our calendar before calendars existed. That's how we use time. That's how we track time.
Yeah.
It's
that's like, how people survived.
It's not woo-woo. That's literally how they would time the harvesting of crops. It's how they would time when daylight savings or like different time changes were happening and things like that. Like it's how you time the seasons. It's how we would live. So to me, it's not that far-fetched. We have to come back to that a little bit. It's not woo-woo to like feel an intuition pull, to feel danger. When you're in danger and you feel scared, you're walking down an alley at night and you're looking over your shoulder and you feel a little, a tingling in your stomach. That's not woo-woo. That's your intuition being like, hey, be on guard. Animals feel that too.
Yeah. We're all energy.
It's survival.
What's next for you?
What's next? Ooh, I've been asking myself the same question. I've been working towards systemizing what I currently have and kind of getting that locked down. So this way I can start thinking about what's next, because I haven't had time to ask myself the question, what do I want? And that's always step one when you manifest the next chapter. So I think right now I'm wrapping things up and I'm asking myself what's next. So I'm very open to any direction. I'm excited because I don't know what's next.
I'm excited for you. You're such a beautiful soul, and it like screams from like your eyes and your face. Like you radiate it. You are so the real deal. And you're proof that, if you believe in something, you have the right energy behind it, it can magnetize like beyond. I mean, the way that you have grown in just the last 18 months, it's almost unheard of, but it's possible.
It's so possible. We were talking about this earlier. It's not magic. It's not a miracle. It's not luck. Like, it's a formula. And once you learn like your own formula to the algorithm of life or to the way things work when you're living in alignment, things will happen faster than you can even believe. And that's what the fire horse is going to be for everyone. Like, I'm telling you guys right now, mark my words right now, this year is going to be insane in all the good ways. Everything's going to happen. For you, what's next? What is this week going to like?
I don't know, girl.
Are you kind of like feeling the same vibe of just like are you just going to take some time this week to figure out what you want? Or
I think everything from my old identity officially got dismantled. And everything. The mayor in the last 2 years, I said goodbye to my home, my marriage, my job. Right?
This is a lot at once.
So, and I can play the victim, but really I was the architect of all of that. So now being in this sort of blank canvas place,
right?
It's like anything can happen. And I'm letting myself dream big. I'm letting myself think all the things and just, I'm open for it. I don't want what I've known to limit what can be.
That's such an interesting way of putting it. Sometimes our own dreams are our limitations. It's like you think you wanted something, but really that's so much less than what you're capable of. I'm so excited for you to embrace the blank canvas aspect. Try everything, and there's no rush. There's no rush to figure anything out. There's no rush for any of it. Like, this is the fun part. The beginning's the fun part.
Yeah, it is. And it's fun when you surrender your expectation and you're just open to like, bring it. Bring me all the good stuff.
We're in the same place right now in different ways. In different ways, yeah.
Like you said, the Cancer-Pisces connection.
Yes, water. We got a lot of water here. See, we're very good with the flow.
Yeah, no, flow is huge. I genuinely believe in flow, for sure. Soma, you've been awesome. Thank you so much. Where can people find you?
You can find me on any platform. My username on TikTok is at Soma Chhaya. And on Instagram, it's at Soma_Chhaya. But yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you. I could talk about this all day. Honestly, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I hope you'll come back.
I will.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Breaking Through with Ellina Abovian. For our community to grow, please like and share, and also leave a review on this episode. Of course, you can find me on social media and let me know what you'd like to talk about in future episodes. Nothing is off limits, so let's have some fun.